Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into something really fascinating. It's the environmental, social, and governance, ESG commitments of some really vital humanitarian organizations.
Exactly.
We're talking the American Red Cross, Australian Red Cross, Lifeblood. You know them for crisis response, obviously. But we're going to look at how they're, well, strategically building a more sustainable, more equitable future from the inside out.
That's right. Our mission today really is to unpack how these organizations are weaving sustainability and social responsibility right into their core life-saving work. We're hunting for those key insights, the ones that show their impact evolving way beyond just that immediate crisis response.
Okay.
And our sources here are their latest ESG reports, their strategic roadmaps. It gives us a kind of new lens on humanitarian aid.
Right, a new lens. So with that mission set, let's start with the American Red Cross. They really formalized this ESG commitment back in 2021. It felt like a clear signal, didn't it, that how they delivered their mission really matters.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just the what, it's the how.
Yeah.
And what's really compelling is how holistic their approach is.
Yeah.
It's not just one thing. They're tackling environmental impact, social equity, and their own internal governance, integrating all three right into operations. So on the environment front, they actually cut carbon emissions by 8% in fiscal 23 compared to 22.
Wow, 8%.
Yeah, which for an organization with that kind of logistical footprint, working in disaster zones, that's a deliberate, pretty remarkable shift.
That really is impressive for just 1 year. And they're aiming higher, right? Like 25% of their fleet hybrid or electric by FY26.
Exactly. They added 119 new hybrids just last year alone. So they're making real headway.
And get this, they're even using compostable feeding supplies during disaster ops. Diverted 49 tons of waste that way. It's easy to sort of gloss over things like plates and forks, but at that scale.
Oh, it adds up massively. Those sort of quieter wins often have the biggest long-term impact. And beyond the environment, their social mission work is just as profound. They launched this community adaptation program focused on building resilient communities, funded about 40 water fill stations too.
Okay.
Estimated to cut out, 8,000 single-use plastic bottles. Small steps, big difference.
Yeah, that's significant.
But what I think is really stand out is their work pioneering the advanced study. That research directly helped change the FDA's blood donation policy for men who have sex with men.
That's huge.
Made it much more inclusive. I mean, it's almost unheard of for an aid group to drive that kind of fundamental policy shift, wouldn't you say?
It's really groundbreaking, yeah. And shifting gears a bit, looking internally, their governance. You mentioned the CEO to median employee pay ratio, 15.8 to 1.
Yes.
What does that tell us?
Well, it's a really powerful statement about internal equity, I think.
Yeah.
Just for context, in the corporate world, you see ratios in the hundreds, sometimes thousands to 1.
Right.
So 15.8 to 1 really underscores their commitment to a more equitable structure within their nonprofit model. It's a clear difference from many corporate norms.
Okay, let's pivot now. Let's cross the Pacific to the Australian Red Cross Lifeblood. They've also got some compelling examples here. They introduced their Reflect Reconciliation Action Plan. What does that actually involve?
So this Reflect plan, it's not just, a document on a shelf. It marks a period of really deep internal learning, acknowledging their history with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures. It's a critical first step on a much longer journey. And the commitment seems quite deep. They've commissioned artwork from First Nations artists like Kenya Lurk. Senior leaders have done cultural immersion experiences to really get kinship and community.
That sounds impactful.
And it translates into concrete actions, too, like in their procurement policy, allowing a 10% tolerance on evaluation criteria to actively support Indigenous businesses.
Interesting.
That's not just social, that's governance, right? Embedding equity right into how they make operational decisions.
That's a very tangible way to do it, yeah. And on the social side, similar maybe to the U.S. Red Cross work, they're acknowledging past issues.
Yes, explicitly. They acknowledge how older, gender-based donation rules created stigma for gay and bisexual men.
Right.
And their new roadmap is clear.
Yeah.
Gay and bisexual men will be able to donate plasma. It shows a real commitment to inclusivity, while, of course, maintaining safety standards.
Meaningful change, then.
Definitely. And environmentally, they're kind of mirroring the American Red Cross's focus. They're targeting a 40% cut in Scope 1 and 2 emissions. That's their direct operational emissions and purchased energy.
The stuff they control most.
Exactly. By 2027, it's all part of their path to net zero by 2050. And they're even engaging their top suppliers on carbon emissions planning. So it goes beyond just their own walls.
Okay, so when we step back, look at both these organizations. What's the big takeaway here for you? It feels clear they're not just responding to crises anymore. They're actively trying to shape a more sustainable, more equitable future through these ESG strategies.
I agree.
It's like they're redefining what humanitarian aid looks like in the 21st century.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And it really makes you think, doesn't it? What responsibility do you, our listeners, see for organizations, humanitarian or otherwise, and how they operate today? How can we all maybe push for more environmental, social, and governance accountability everywhere? What small choices might reflect these bigger shifts we're seeing?